If you want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. If you want a revolution,
it's Halloween, Vince!
Literally, it is Halloween.
We made it. We finally made it through horror month, and it's October 31st.
What better to celebrate Halloween and Horror Month 2012 here on Front Row Review, but with one of the best horror movie sequels I think there's ever been made.
And that, horror fans, is HalloweeN II.
HalloweeN II.
This is a 2-disc collector's edition Blu-ray, but only on 1 disc. First of all, Vince, we really need to take a look at the disc itself, because just the disc itself is pretty phenomenal.
I liked what they did. It looks like an old movie poster, too.
The artwork on the front cover is great. I mean, it's not a rehashed poster from all the other Halloween movies. This is actual brand new artwork.
The cover with this cool poster on it is actually, of course, a slip cover, or a sleeve, actually. And you can take the sleeve out, and it's reversible. They have on the other side of the sleeve the original HalloweeN II poster with a pumpkin that I've always liked. I've always liked that picture.
Yeah, it's an iconic photograph. You know, I did too. That's like probably one of my all-time favorite posters to any movie ever. It's just such a phenomenal looking picture. And the discs themselves inside are really cool too. They're actually the pumpkins from the cover. So I really like how they did the discs themselves.
That's also very cool.
All right, so let's get right into, first, the picture quality, Vince. What'd you think?
Actually, I have to say it was really good. I really did like it. I mean, it was clear. I think it was the clearest and that this movie has ever looked.
Yeah, I agree. I think the picture quality here is pretty excellent on the Blu-ray. I don't think it's the best transfer I've ever seen. I mean, comparing this to the Evil Dead 2 that just came out, I'd say the Evil Dead 2 blew it out of the water, as in clarity and picture quality, because that was phenomenal. Even though this is good, I wouldn't say it's the best picture quality I've ever seen on a Blu-ray. But for HalloweeN II, yeah, it looks as good as it probably ever will. Now, the audio was pretty decent here, but it wasn't spectacular either. I mean, it was okay. I don't think it had an incredible surround sound to it.
Yeah, I think the audio could have been a little bit better. I mean, because I've heard the audio for the original Halloween on DVD, and that's just phenomenal. And that's on DVD.
And now let's get into the extras. First, we have 2 commentaries here. The first commentary is by the director. It does have the actor that's with him. I believe he was Bud in the movie, the guy that played Bud.
And we're on a crane, and we're on a Steadicam. And Steadicam steps off the crane, and now it's going to go with these guys to the house. And this will be our introduction now to Jamie Lee after we left her in the first film with the stab wound in her shoulder. So came off the, and let me stop for a minute. There's the introduction of Leo Rossi and Lance Guest.
I look like my son. Look at that. You know what I think when I see that? 33-inch waist. Oh boy, that's right.
The commentary isn't all that great. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's the type of commentary where they'll stop talking for like a minute and a half. You know, you're like watching the movie, and they're talking and talking, and all of a sudden they just stop talking. And then there's this big, long space, and you're like, okay, did I hit a button? What's going on? And then all of a sudden they start talking again. I'm like, Yeah, okay, you know, there's long spaces between them doing the commentary and stopping. I guess they're watching the movie themselves, and all of a sudden they start talking again. And for me, that doesn't really make entertaining commentary. And the second commentary, which is on the back of the box, and it says it's by the guy who played Michael Myers, the stunt coordinator. But he's also with another person, like the director is, and I believe the other person like runs some kind of horror website and some magazine or something. I don't know who the guy was.
Because I remember catching this on TV as opposed to on videotape, and I'd always notice different versions of scenes. And this is to keep with the Halloween tradition. A little kid biting down on a piece of candy with a razor, which always kind of disturbed me as a kid too.
Yeah, that's Ty Mitchell, and I now see him as a handsome young guy at the conventions. That's the only scene he was in, but it's memorable, I think.
Yeah.
So if you only have time to watch one commentary, watch the one with Michael Myers, because he talks about, you know, really, you wouldn't think it would be that interesting because he's just a stunt coordinator. But yeah, he actually talks more about making the films than the director does.
That's probably because they have Michael Myers in just about every scene of this movie. So I can imagine that Dick Warlock would have been like all over that commentary.
Now, Vince, we need to mention there's two versions of this movie on here. They also gave you the television version as well as the Blu-ray. Now, the television version, unfortunately, is not in Blu-ray, but at the same time, I don't think it affected the movie at all. I thought it still looked pretty clear.
Yeah, I think it did too. I think it actually did look well, and for being the TV version, which I usually see on television, it did look superior, because whenever they do show it on television, it's usually, like I said before, dark, and you can't really tell what's going on.
And you may not think there's a big difference between the theatrical version and the TV version, but let me tell you, there's a huge difference. It's almost like watching an entirely different film.
Julie saw him, you know. Michael Myers.
Come on.
I swear, yesterday when she was coming to work.
What did she see?
You know the shopping bag out by the mall? Well, she stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River Dive-In. Julie said he was so creepy.
Julie's full of sugar. He didn't escape until last night. Damn.
Well, you don't have to swear, but...
Right, exactly. They added a lot of extra footage and a lot of extended footage.
And there's like just like alternate shots of the same sequence too, which is really weird.
Well, next we have The Nightmare Isn't Over, the making of Halloween II.
And I said, yeah, we're going to do another movie with John Carpenter. We're going to do 2 more movies with him. We're going to do The Fog, and then we're going to do Halloween II. Not long after, Bob Ramey at Embassy announced that he was going to do The Fog with John Carpenter. I was pretty upset. I was livid. I called Carpenter, and I got nowhere with him. And I did the only thing I could at that point. I sued them both.
Before I saw this, I literally have never seen anything about Halloween 2. I've never seen a single documentary about it. I've never seen anyone ever talk about it. I've never seen any making of it. I came into this movie with a complete zero knowledge of Halloween 2.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be the same thing for me. I mean, I haven't really... I mean, I saw some behind-the-scenes footage here and there, but I've never seen anything like this. And this whole featurette, this whole behind-the-scenes making of, is really actually very entertaining and very interesting because they get the whole cast, almost the whole cast.
So what do we have next, Vince?
Horror's Hallowed Grounds, the locations of Halloween 2.
So now we're in the alley from Halloween 2. We're standing behind 716 Meridian. This is actually the Elrod house. What happens is there's a point of view shot. It's supposed to be Michael's point of view coming from their yard. He comes this way, looking down the alley here. He then turns, and when he turns, there's a jump cut. So it jumps to a shot of a dog barking, and then you'll notice this pole in the background with the X on it. The pole next to it's a newer pole that wasn't there before. The point of view shot then follows Michael this way, down the alley, and then he sees Loomis and Sheriff Brackett pull up in the car there.
This was really interesting. It's basically a guy walking around Haddonfield, or where they filmed it, was supposed to be Haddonfield, and showing all the houses now, you know, what they look like now compared to when they filmed the movie. And he's like walking up and down the alleyways where they show everything and going to the VA hospital, and I thought it was pretty good.
And it was interesting to see all these places that you've seen this many times and so many times on television and now on DVD and Blu-ray. It was really interesting to see all these locations. It makes me want to go to those places.
What's really interesting is they look almost exactly the same as they did when they filmed the movie. And then the house with an old woman in the beginning of it, that house is still there. It's exactly the same. It has like not been touched. They even have the cutting board she pulls out where the knife is on it. It's still there. They haven't touched anything in the house. But
the house looked like it was ragged.
So up next we have the deleted scenes. Unfortunately, all these deleted scenes that are on this disc are actually the same exact deleted scenes that are on the other disc from the TV version of it. However, what does make this worth watching is they have the director's commentary over the deleted scenes, so it's worth watching to see what he thinks about the scenes that were cut from the film.
So I always liked this scene. I thought it had a certain tension, and anytime you have needles and clothes coming off, that's a good scene for a horror film, I think.
We have the TV and radio spots.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. Man, he's not human.
Universal Pictures presents Halloween II. More of the night he came home.
It's really kind of interesting to watch the TV spots, but the radio spots, that was even more entertaining.
The lights go out. The phone goes dead. The stairs creak.
Who's there?
The doorknob turns. And you're all alone in the dark. Universal Pictures presents Halloween II. From the people who brought you Halloween. More of the night he came home. Halloween II.
And finally, we have the still gallery, which are still pictures from the movie and the set.
And this was pretty cool. This is actually the behind-the-scenes things that I had seen throughout the years. I mean, there are some new photos in there that I didn't ever see, but most of them, I used to read Fangoria magazine, and they had a lot of these shots in Fangoria magazine. Overall, I would have to say I actually enjoyed it. I think I really did enjoy it overall. I mean, it's good. It's not Evil Dead good, Evil Dead 2 good, but for Halloween 2, this is the best thing that's out there. It's better than any version of Halloween 2 I've ever seen.
And there isn't a ton of extra features on here. I mean, as actual extra features, there isn't a ton, but it still took me over a week to get through the entire disc because you have to watch the entire film. Then you get to watch the entire TV version of the film. Then you get to watch the whole first commentary, which is watching the movie all over again. Then you got to watch the movie over again, watching the other commentary. And it's just, it takes a while to get through all these extras.
Yeah, it does. And, well, even the behind-the-scenes making of thing, that itself is like, what, 45 minutes long?
So in all, I would have to give Halloween 2 a definite 5 out of 5.
This is my rating. 5 out of 5.
And Halloween is not yet over, people, because now our next review, what we're doing is we are reviewing Halloween 3. It's not over because you still have the Season of the Witch to get through.
what death is.